Hey, what's going on, everybody? Video day on Opinionated Wrestler, of course. And I want to talk to you about crappy, commonly given advice that we've heard of. These phrases that are here of that we just know they're garbage. And I want to give a little bit of a revision to it as we're starting out the year in 2024. Let's get into it. First one I want to tackle up is follow your passion. I had to pretty much write a whole bunch of notes down because, or rather, a bunch of points down, and I want to try to get into that stuff. This is some of the biggest BS that you ever heard of, saying that you should just follow your passion. And we've heard that for a long time. Follow your passion, follow your passion. Let me change my mic. Follow your passion, follow your passion, follow your passion. And the truth of the matter is that most people actually don't follow their passion. And don't get me wrong, there's a myriad of reasons why that doesn't happen. Either they're not really as good at that, or they really don't have as much ambition for it, to be honest with you. But also, most people who actually follow their passion never really arrive at it. They don't. They never actually make the journey long enough to actually see it fulfilled. And therefore, that's why a lot of people don't go for it. Which is why I also believe that it's not sound advice to just tell somebody to go follow their passions. Now, I can tell you what I have seen that does turn out very well. And I would say if I had to tell them that, if I had to tell them not to follow their passion in order for them to reach what they consider to be their passion, I would say follow the cost. Let me explain. I would say follow the cost because first of all, you need to be able to figure out what you're willing to accept in order for you to be doing the thing that you want to be doing. Most people don't even think about the cost ahead of time. If you know that you're going to be a person who is your passion is making magnets, right? If you want to be trying to make a living making magnets, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for one, but also you got to know there's going to be a lot of struggle ahead of time. You're going to be eating a lot of shit before you are able to eat well. So a lot of things that people don't explain when they're talking about following your passion, as I would say, follow the cost, is because you know it's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you knowing that in the beginning it's going to be hard. You're not going to make much from it. And you're going to have to know that you're going to eat a lot of shit before you can become really good enough to be able to make a living at it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. You're really just wasting your time. And let's just be honest, our economy doesn't care about waiting up for you, it's not kind. The second would be treat others how you want to be treated. This is terrible advice. And I'm gonna explain why it's terrible advice. Who wants to be treated how the other person feels about themselves? I know that person damn for sure is not thinking that they want you to treat them about basically how you feel about yourself. So the idea that we would treat people as we treat ourselves, and let's be honest, a lot of us know firsthand our own accounting that we don't even treat ourselves as good as we should. So the idea that we should treat other people as good as we treat ourselves is ridiculous because most people are not going to really account for it. I would say the only people that we know that we can treat like ourselves are people who have the exact same interests as we do. And that's not the majority of people, believe it or not. There might be some like-minded things that we, get to know about each other that we actually like, but there's no one who's exactly liking everything that you like. And let's be honest, we know that those people tend not to really stick around in our lives anyway. Symmetry tends to wander off. If I had to change this one up and revise it, I would say figure out how people want to be treated. And to be honest with you, this is a rather easy one because all you have to do is just ask the question. Hey, I don't want to disrespect you in any kind of way. How would you like to be treated? And most people are not even used to being asked this question. But should you be the person to ask someone how they wish to be treated, you'd be surprised how much things would become easier. You would have a level of understanding about a particular person, and therefore you would be able to also be able to navigate situations going on in the future. Sounds easy enough to me. Plus, plus, if you manage to have a friend that you notice that they are always in a situation, a bad situation, chances are This is a person who enjoys being in a bad situation. And if you don't like bailing them out of it, you know who the cutoff did. Just saying. Number three. Number three would be stop and smell the roses. Yeah, I know some of you probably already guessed that one. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's not, it's a popular phrase that I've heard, but it's not something that you think that you would hear all the time. It sneaks up on you. It's one of those weird things that people tend to give you, like on the job. That's pretty much when I've heard it. Slow down, stop, and smell the roses. No one really thinks to actually hear those words, but I actually heard it, which is weird enough. Which makes it pop into my mind. And this tends to be from people who are like in the workforce, the people who are on the grind, hitting the pavement, those people who forget to raise their children. Yeah, those are the people that you tend to hear it from. If I had to revise this, I would say learn to delay gratification. That's what I would say. There's no quick and easy way to get to anything. It, everything takes time. I mean, a great example are the people who quit every year going to the gym because they don't see the results fast enough, so therefore they quit. You have to be willing to do the thing, understanding that you're not going to be able to see it now, but know that you can benefit from it later. And most people don't stick around long enough to see the job done. That's just the way it is. Number four, and that's just to be kind. This is dog shit. Just gonna say it straight up. It's dog shit. And the reason why I say it's dog shit, not that being kind is a bad thing in its own right. It's not. It's just that we are in a particular time where being kind is a short-sighted thing. And when I say short-sighted, is that most people don't even recognize when people are kind. People who are holding the door, people don't say thank you, people who do kind gestures, people don't pay attention. For instance, every time I go out, rather in a day, I always do this one thing. Do at least one good deed a day. You don't need acknowledgement from it or anything, but I can tell you from personal experience, most people don't acknowledge it. If I go to Starbucks and I buy a coffee and I buy a cake pop, I typically give it to the young lady that's the one that's doing the order for me. Oh, here's your cake pop. Actually, that's for you. I do it because it's something good deeds are something that you don't see often, and they're definitely not acknowledged. And I even if I'm being thanked for it, I want it to be in a way that's genuinely and generally accepted, because you'd be surprised the things that we do on a regular basis that doesn't get acknowledged. You do something for a coworker and you'd be surprised it just goes out the window. Do something for a stranger and it just goes out the window. Things that are just not being seen in the world. And that's sad. People are really short-sighted when it comes to kindness. And I think it's something that needs to be recognized. I don't know how we got more and more rude into the fact that we think that these things should be expected and they're not just genuine acts of affirmation that we want to give to other people, whether we know them or not. If I had to change it, consider what kindness is after assessing the situation. Because not everybody deserves kindness. I'm going to be honest with you. They don't. Because I've run into people who are so kind. These people are at a detriment to themselves and also the people around them. They will do almost anything at all cost not to offend other people. That means if they are the type of people that are on a job, they are the types that just not to offend other people. They won't tell them that your work is trash and you should do something to make it better because you're slowing down the benefit of the group, of the department. And instead, they will take on those people's task, effectively making their jobs easier and their life harder. They are more worried about how the other people are going to react to them saying something that would be in their benefit, but would make them upset. And this is just bad. It's wrong. It's the people who will feed their dog treats while their dog is shitting all over their carpet and basically still giving them treats, ensuring that the behavior is not going to stop. These people are less concerned with your well being and are more concerned with how you feel about them. And I got a lot more for you going on right now. But you tell me so far about what I've already told you. Are any things I've already told you something that you don't really agree with? Or give me your take about something that you know that you hear that always tends to happen, or something that you even know that's a phrase that you think is really bull as well. Let me know. Number five is results are all that matters. I will tell you that I pretty much was a prime candidate for that one. I did it a lot, especially in the beginning of my career. I'm very much guilty of this one. I won't lie to you. I was a very results oriented person who didn't really care that much about the opinions of other people. If I didn't see you as a person who had any sort of talent, I really didn't bother with you. If I had to revise this one, I would say take pleasure in mastering the process regardless of the results. Because as much as I generated results, I had more free time on my hands, sure, but I also had a lot of boredom in my hands. And when other people came to me for ask for help, I really didn't want to help them at first. As over time, that began to change. And I was willing, in the beginning, I was willing to take shortcuts. But when a real situation happened, I didn't know all the intricacies that were in the middle to help me be successful. So when I took the time to learn the entire process and get very good at it, not only was I very good at my job, but I was also good at training other people as well. So I would tell people I would tell other people or anyone who's listening that if you really want to get good at the thing that you're working on, then you need to enjoy the process itself and don't worry about the results, especially if you're in the beginning of something new. Give yourself grace and know that it's okay for you to F it up. It's best that you F it up now and early to learn all the lessons than you get way down later and you F up and people are looking at you like you you effed up on something really simple. Why? You know? But you want to know what's a way that you don't have to F up? Hitting the like button and supporting the channel. And if you're interested, of course, subscribe so that you're notified of future episodes happening over here at Opinionated. Number six, don't let haters get you down. I don't know anyone who ever really used the phrasing like that. Something that I say is let your haters be your biggest motivators. But I, I gotta say, afterwards, after some time of thinking about it, because I was so clear on this one, but after some time of thinking about it, people tend to really get on your nerves. They really do. They do. People really tend to get on your nerves. And I know that you don't really know them or anything like that, but it happens. Who really says haters? No, don't let haters get you down. Except that the old, Jennifer in accounting. I've not have been normally the person who says haters are your biggest motivators, but I gotta also say that it's normal and also very annoying when you want to say go on a Reddit or a Discord and you see someone who basically said that they hope your dog dies, or you get onto a the comment section and you see that people say that racism is okay, it's a good thing, or you're seeing a response to a video that you've done and the person who totally just disagrees with you pretty much says that they hope that you get colon cancer while you're passing a deuce. There's so many reasons why we have so many ass clowns that say everything that they want to say, especially under the terms of anonymity. Wow, I can't even say it right now. Freaking line is in my mouth. Under being anonymous in order to just being asshole, plain and simple. And the worst part is, believe it or not, these are the people who built up a resilience over time and became those assholes because once they were just like you. They were people who had the open mind and had a lot of, had a lot of ideas and strategies and worked with people. But after being shut down a lot of time, they built up a lot of resilience to the point where they became assholes to other people. So as much as you want to give them a little bit of grace, you really can't. Instead, I would turn the phrase of don't let your haters get you down into know what you should and shouldn't be ashamed of. And the reason why I say know what you should and shouldn't be ashamed of is because when you run into these people who are going to be your haters, they are going to say everything they can. They're going to try to shame you. They're going to try to say everything they can to try to tear you down. They will talk about your height, your weight, your sexual partner. They will talk about your looks. They will talk about the fact that they think that you have one leg shorter than the other, whether it's true or not. They will question your sexuality. They will do all these different things. They will do everything that's pretty much out of your control. Anything that they think will make you insecure. It's sad, but it is true. And I want you to understand this as well. Shame is not a bad thing. Shame actually is the only indicator that we have from the world that our actual behaviors and habits are good or not. It's just that some people care less or more than others. The most important thing I would say, the most important question is the person who's chastising you, are they someone who wants to see you do better, or are they the person who basically is trying to tear you down just so they can compare themselves and say that they're better than you are? Something to think about. Number 7, and number 7 is going to be listening makes all the difference. Now, in terms of communication, listening definitely matters. However, however, most people just want you to listen while they just do a whole bunch of talking. They don't care about you actually solving any of their problems whatsoever, or even helping, to be honest with you. If I had to revise this one, I would say watching what people do makes all the difference, because people lie. People lie all the time. Observing people are the only way that I really come out to understand them. It's not because I just think that they're bad people. I think everybody lies and everybody tells themselves particular things in order to get by. However, people also do this to a point where they lie to themselves simply because they're not able to uphold their own expectations. Unfortunately, I would just say watch out for people that you should not engage with. And I mean the people that you absolutely cannot trust. The people that say if you challenge or even question anything they say, they pretty much rant, rave, or even want to chew you out for it. Watch out for those people. They're the ones who are basically the type that will try to get you fired, make up things about you. They're the type of people who, if you're not careful, they'll get SWAT to come to your house. They're aiming for the worst to happen to you. So be careful when it comes to them. And number 8 is speak from the heart. And what this basically is saying is just to be honest. Now I'll be the one to tell you because I'm generally an honest person. I can omit, but I'm generally honest. Not because it makes life easier, you know. And I'm not saying that lying makes your life easier and solves a lot of problems, although it kind of does. But I tend to just be honest, period. There are a lot of reasons why people make the particular actions they do. And I would say instead of speaking from the heart, which, let's be honest, people who tend to speak from the heart are not the people who tend to be celebrated for giving their opinions as careful or ruthlessly as they do. It's not a good thing to always be blunt. Sometimes it's just a matter of just not saying anything or even just refraining from giving your opinion, even when asked. So my revision for this would be learn to read the room, which is not easy for everybody, but it is a skill that can be picked up. I would learn to read the room. It doesn't matter to some people what you say. It doesn't. In fact, if you have people who have already written a narrative about you, and especially if that narrative is negative, then anything that you're going to say is going to be criticized. It's going to be looked at with a lens of criticism, and it doesn't matter how logical you are, how careful you are in your speech. In their mind, what they just heard from you is
You suck. And on top of that, I'm going to piss on your head so I can establish dominance over you.
that's the way how I see it anyway. By the way, if you're talking to a person who finds you attractive, they're not really hearing anything that came out of your mouth, whether it's positive or negative. The only thing they're noticing is that their crush is talking to them. All right, all right. Number 9, I'm gonna make this my last one, and it is what's in your heart matters most. And that's bullshit because the idea that what's in your heart matters most is predicated on you being a good character. And these are some of the most dangerous people that I've actually run across. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The most dangerous and most self-centered people that I tend to have run across. Let me tell you why. I've met people who have the mindset that pretty much goes like, what matters most is not what I do, but how I feel about it. And we run into a lot of people who are doing that in today's age. Yeah, these are the heart and mind people. These are the people who, if they've actually done something to wrong you, what happens is they internalize the guilt, but that internalization is actually the cost of payment. So therefore, they'll turn around and then wrong you once again because, quite frankly, the guilt that they received was the cost. Instead of them actually doing better, they're just like, I'll shrug it off and I'll keep going better. In fact, this is the mindset of some of the people that I'm talking about. You have a say you get a cashier and you manage to get her who was stealing, and you're like, you need to pay the company back for what you did. And in their mind, they're thinking,
But what do you mean if I stole the money but I have to pay it back? What do you mean I have to pay it back? I said sorry. Isn't that good enough?
and no, it's not good enough. But in their mind, the guilt of being caught for something that they did is enough. It is enough for them to say that they feel something about it, and the act of them saying sorry should be enough. You get the other people that are basically like, as I stated, the hearts and minds, the prayers and in your thoughts, people. It's the Imagine you have two kids who lost their house, right? And now they have to go out into the world with no place to live. And you'll get a person that he or she will be like, you know what? Those kids,
Those kids have to go out into the world and they don't ever have a place to live. Mm-mm-mm. We'll definitely keep them in our thoughts.
and you're sitting there like, wait, what? You know, if you actually feel a way about it, you could do a little bit more about the situation, right? You know what they'll say? You know what?
You're right. You're absolutely right. I will be sure to let the other people know, everyone I run across, to let them know just how miserable I am. I want everybody to know how guilty I feel about those two children's plight.
These people are some of the most dangerous people that I tend to run across. The most selfish and self-centered people that I tend to run across. If I had to revise this statement, I would say you are the sum total of your actions. Nothing else. Point blank, period. Anyway, these are my thoughts. You tell me about what you think about these particular topics, these particular phrases that I've given up. 'Cause we like to knock down these talking points, right? I'm just saying. And if you have any more of yourself, let me know in the comment section. And if you think that there's something that should be added on, or maybe if you have a revision to my revisions, let me know as well. Anyway, Wrestler, once again, thanks for watching another episode of Opinionated, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Oh, by the way, I don't know why I forget this, but stay opinionated.